write this down so I know when to highlight this.
Write down your new hat. It's right.
By the way, this show
behind
is
you.
scripted. If anyone's curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, these. Yeah,
We're very good at the script.
We
Every
pilot
joke
tickets
has
beforehand.
carefully- There's been right before this. There's a big writers' room thing where it's all bullet points. And
We
we're
have
just
a writer's room. There's a big countdown clock to how long we have before stream, and we're constantly
No
looking at
matter,
that big clock.
despite whatever outfit we wear on stream, we all wear high-waisted pants with the tie, and that's
shout out to any other Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip heads.
I watched 30 Rock.
I think there's a big crossover.
I watched the pilot on YouTube. I remember because a while back, I mean, it's like I've always thought this show was a very funny, silly idea, but you know, the clip from the newsroom where like the newsman is like, god damn it, these millennials ruined like America, whatever. I watched that on like Facebook or something, and then the next clip was Judd Hirsch's big explosion in Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, and I was like, this seems a little silly, right? Like, it's like it's all about SNL. Like, it's okay, cool. Like, I wish Lord Michaels would do this, go out and be like, SNL sucks, and everything would be good again.
Andrew Lord Michaels.
Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, again, the reason you got Big Ethan is because I am going to be talking about my latest commission. I mean, it's just I've only had two, but it's my new Wellema Fedora made by my friend Cody Wellema, of which the business is named for.
Crazy.
Or not. Yeah.
Who knew?
You know, we were talking about black tassel loafers on Wednesday, and so one of the reasons why I got black tassel fedora I've wanted is because I knew I ordered this black fedora. Now this is black. It's got a black ribbon.
Indeed.
If you guys listen to the Sherlock Holmes episode of the pod, you'll know that one of the first hats I was ever like super in love with is Sherlock's black fedora that he wears in that film. And it's iconic. You know, it has like, you know, obviously this is not a straight reproduction of it because his has like, I think his has like a wider brim. It has like a bound edge and everything. And his, I think, is from Lock and Co. And there's a lot of internet discussion about what it is because it looks kind of different than the super felt on Lock and Co. But anyway, I was like, you know what, I kind of like it. And of course, Ethan Newton over at Bryceland's and even Kenji have black fedoras made by Cody. And even I had a 30s fedora that I think was always too small for my head. But I bought it because it was really cheap. It's very 30s, so that one I could go get it, but I'm not gonna do that right now. That one, the crown is taller and the brim is shorter because that's what hats were in like, you know, the early like mid 30s.
I'm crowning right now.
And
Jesus.
Yep. God, flip the clip. But yeah, I got this one because I just couldn't wear the 30s fedora. You know, it just, the shape of it is just a little too dated. We have a whole episode on fedoras, maybe a stream at some point, because I know I have some. Spencer has one, and then Aldous has a couple of fedoras as well. That
quite a few,
yeah. It would be a good stream for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I can't wear the 30s one casually, not even formally, and it barely fits my head. So, you know, the only way to kind of do it is to get one made. And I think a black fedora is one that is definitely I don't know if it's like a good investment, but it's one of those things where black fedoras are kind of hard to wear or find good, or in general, most fedoras are hard to find really well.
Right.
And black has,
that's why he called it that.
Black black fedoras are kind of just kind of tough because, you know, we talked about Gangster Squad and the Party City Gangster, as we call him, where he wears a black fedora with a white band and like a black suit with a black shirt with a white tie. You know, and
he looks great. We love him.
Yeah. But you know, stuff like that make me averse to it. But then again, seeing Ethan Newton and Kenji's kind of punky rock and roll take on classic tailoring was like, you know what, it can absolutely be done really well. And so that's why I got this one. It is made of beaver felt. So the price on it is like $650.
Leave it to Beaver.
Belt.
Leave it to Beaver. Yeah, belt.
In parentheses.
It is made just like my brown fedora. I think it might be a little bit wider. I'm not sure because it looked wider. But I have a brown fedora in the same kind of crown, this crown height, similar
crown
ribbon
block.
and everything. Crown block.
Yep.
Thank you. You remember when? Do you guys remember that time when one of our this guy who wears a top hat and maybe a truck horn?
Yeah.
We need a name for him.
Bicorn. Let's be correct.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Not his
it's a
actual
bicorn.
name.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But you know, here it's just like it's what they call like a C crown, right? Or whatever, or teardrop. Teardrop. And there's a different one, but mainly on Hamburgs, where it has like a center dent, as some people call it, but some people call it a center bash because it's bashed in. And I remember this guy was like, "Oh, a gentleman would never call it a center bash. It sounds too close to gash." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Jesus, that's a good guess.
Jesus
Christ.
You know? Okay. But he said it's very like unbecoming.
That's exactly why we're gonna say it.
I hate that unbecoming.
But yeah,
I'm gonna call it the center gash.
we should.
Just do it.
Yeah, it's a very
silent direction. We stand the center gash.
You know, just like with with suits, I think that some people we've talked to some people I think where they say, "Oh, I can't do a soft shoulder because they have maybe like a like square shoulders." I think we watched the articles of style video. I don't know if that was on stream or not, but there was it's a BuzzFeed video where they try out 3 different ones, and there's a very buff guy who has very square shoulders, and they put him in a soft, like a almost unstructured shoulder, and it doesn't look good on him because of just how he is. I think he has kind of forward like shoulders, so it also just doesn't
because of my scoliosis,
fit right? And so it's one of those things where I had to learn, like, just like even though I like 30s or 40s stuff, sometimes the shape of the crown block and the brim doesn't always work on me. So that's why again, Bespoke was kind of the way to go, because not only did I have like my 30s fedora, but I also had a custom fedora that I guess MJ should have, but I don't even know if it'll fit him. But I have a brown.
Yeah, you might be able to look forward to that.
Yeah. Eat the slop.
Brown felt fedora that was very 30s and tall crown, shorter brim. It just doesn't look good on my face. I have like a very kind of wide face. I have a round face.
Ethan, how wide's the brim on this guy?
Face.
This much.
It's this wide.
Break it out.
Yeah, I don't remember, but I think because Cody has all stuff, but I just know like the brown one I got, and if you guys haven't read the article on the subject of fedoras, it's a very good shape for me. And so I was like, you know what, Cody, I really love this one. Let's just reproduce it. I don't want to try something new because if I tried like a new like height or like width, it might be a waste of money, right? So I did it like this. The only thing I changed was the ribbon bow air, like the knot or whatever of the ribbon. That's the only thing I kind of changed up. There is also, so if you look on the inside here, it's got a black band and the gold, Cody's trademark gold lining. And on my brown one, he has a on the brown one, he actually perforates the sweatband on the inside. It's still covered on the outside by the ribbon, but the idea was there's a little bit of like ventilation. He just kind of did it. I think I felt it, but he said that people normally don't feel it.
I don't think that
it is beaver fur.
And so he didn't do it for this one because no one asked for that service. He stopped offering it and he kind of sold the part that punctures. So I don't have it on this one. But yeah, this one on the monogram on the inside says "Always a pleasure," which if you read the blog is my sign off on the blog. It's always been that way. I think even before that it used to be
always
my
been his
pleasure.
Same as it ever was.
I'm always
same as it ever was.
Always pleasure.
Look what my hand does.
I'll watch a delay of it.
It's I think I even signed off my emails or like my
you what? Your emails?
My Neopets account with "Always a Pleasure" or something like that.
Club Penguin.
Yeah, VMK and stuff like that, but it's I can't put it on because I am wearing headphones and I cannot.
You can take it. I mean, you can take
headphones are kind of the same thing.
You could take off the headphones and just show it off and just kind of talk for a bit.
That's a possibility as well.
I mean. You won't be able to hear us, but we won't be talking.
Chaplain there.
Here it is.
The hat flew off.
Oh, let's shit talk there.
Pull up my camera so I can see what it looks like on this. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's still kind of stiff. I know you guys are making jokes. I'm definitely.
Did Sherlock get here?
Yeah, I picked it up like
lady. Ethan's so stiff.
So my brown one kind of
just how I like it.
Just how I like. Always a pleasure.
Always a.
I like when he.
Do women say always a pleasure?
When he puts down the sides, and it kind of looks like a 1930s
logo. I was on that Rose Bowl, so like the brown.
Ethan can't tell that we're making fun of him, can he?
Make your jokes about how soft that was. So Ethan's soft now. And kind of get softer over time.
What listeners might not understand is that we don't listen to anything each other say.
We weren't making jokes until he like preempted the jokes.
Or he's inspired.
You just mute him. Just mute him on the screen. And we could just when he goes to highlight this afterward, it'll just be us talking over him.
Talking individually.
We're all individuals.
Technology, like a hat's not a hat until it's cocked or whatever. I mean, I heard that laugh on my headphones.
Not a hat until it's cocked.
But yeah, that was cool. It's fun to kind of wear it like this and wear it today.
Can we do a super cast of just words you said in this?
Like 110 degrees. It'll be 110 degrees tomorrow.
It's got to be a good few gems in there.
But
okay.
You guys done laughing?
So what happened was we were all silent, and then you were like, "I know that you guys are making jokes," and then we were like, "Oh, come on!" And so then we started making jokes.
There you go.
I just couldn't stand it. We were all just in our own bubble, and you just kept plowing forward. It was so good.
Oh, I'm always plowing.
There you go.
We love it.
What was that sound?
I don't know. Noises. We love them.
We love noises. Don't we?
Anyway, love noises.
That's my Fedora. Again, really great. Spencer, I know. Were you thinking of commissioning something at some point?
I might. I was. Yeah, I want to get a brown Fedora, but kind of like Ethan, I have a vintage brown Fedora, probably from the 40s or 50s. But it doesn't really look good with casual stuff. So what I really want is because I have my Western Fedora, which I can wear with casual stuff pretty easily. I want a brown one that I could do that with.
Yeah, I want a brown one too. Yeah, dark brown is.
I'm surprised, Aldous, you don't have one.
I haven't got to it yet. That's the thing. I've also had hats custom made, but here in Toronto, there's a local guy who also makes custom hats as well. I think I have three from him, and if I get another hat, it will be a brand one. But he may be retiring soon. I don't know. He hasn't been certain either way. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But I like the stuff I've gotten from him.
No, Aldous, didn't you post a recent? It's not recent, but you posted a picture where you had like a fedora on. Maybe it was gray. I don't. Maybe I thought it was brown, but you don't have one. So maybe it was a gray fedora. But you had like an overcoat on, a tie, the whole fixin'.
I do have one brand one I guess, but it's kind of like it's a lighter brand, I suppose. Natural beaver is the color.
I love natural beaver.
Me too.
Jason, that's very punk rock. So that's it. Yes.
Every time I say the word beaver, I think of the scene in The Naked Gun where he's like, "Nice beaver," and she goes, "Thanks, I just got it stuffed." And hands him down a taxidermy beaver.
Yeah. Yes.
Those movies.
I have a light brown hat, like a pearl gray and a charcoal. That's what I have so far.
Yeah,
I feel like another one will be a brand. Yeah.
I might have to sell off my gray fedora because I should have done my first ever custom one with him, but back when I was Cody's photographer, and this is what sucks about me introducing people to photography. People just don't need Ethan anymore. But yeah,
you're teaching these men how to fish.
I know. But yeah, I used to be Cody's photographer, and as a thank you for I mean, his hats are, he makes them all by hand and everything. I think is it the Milner? I don't know. What you got, the fur person. The dealer for the
Canon now.
Furry. Yeah. But anyway, it's it's all like American and everything, and so it's an expensive hat, but it's worth it. But yeah, so for a thank you, I opted to pick one of his hats off the rack because it looked like what I would normally get, and of course at the time, this is like what 2 or almost 3 years ago, I wanted like a 30 style fedora, and again, after wearing it for a while, it just kind of was too hard to wear. Again, 30s high crowned, kind of medium to shortish brim. It looks fine. People, he says, of course, it looks great on me. All the vintage people think it looks good, and it does look decent. But I think the way I wear clothes and more slouchy just doesn't work with like my.
It doesn't pass the vibe check.
Yeah. It does not pass the vibe check. I still have it, Yeah, and I wish.
He's talking about his new Sherlock fedora. That's right, Scott.
Yeah, I asked him. Well, he asked me if I was like, "Do you want to get some off the rack, or do you want me to get one custom made? Like, if it's custom made, it'll probably take a couple of months." And I was like, "Well, I want it now." And yeah,
I want my MTV.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I don't know. Like, what if back then I would have commissioned like a 30 style fedora anyway, right? Like, I don't know if my taste would have changed. So it's one of those. Just like with a custom suit, right? Like, I think that a lot of people have they like with my Ascot Chang suit, right? Like my first ever like bespoke suit, I got the legs made a little bit too narrow. I mean, they're fine, but it's like I got it too narrow.
Narrower than you would get it now.
Yeah. In hindsight, the stuff you wanted to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's one reason why I like ready to wear, because it's like it's more of an easier like, oh, I can just wear it, or I can choose to not buy it. Compared to bespoke, where you're putting all the thought into it, and then you're like, wait, well, now that I look back, you can't,
See, for me, as someone with an immense amount of taste and style, it's almost a burden.
Right.
I prefer to make things instead of buying them off the rack, because nothing is exactly what I want, and usually it's in terms of color, which we'll get to in another stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you guys know my love affair with colors.
We know your love of colors.
Yeah,
you love the blacks.
You're like
don't tell the doctor.
You're like the giver. You're the only one that can see him anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was that book, right?
Yep. Yes.
Never read it. I don't know.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, everyone saw in black and white or something.
I think
and red all over.
Yes. That's it. That's the one. You got it.
Yeah.
At what point, by the way, do you think they'll make a BuzzFeed Worth It video with fedoras? Do you think we'll get there? Do you think they'll run out of content?
Happen.
I pray that they do. I pray.